Hello and welcome everyone again to this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. I'm your host, Joe Hutzler, and before we get to our first guest, let's talk about what's happened this past week and take a look at our recap. Of course, the women's soccer team, once again champions, 1-0 this time in penalty kicks. They won 5-3. Sarah Schrader with a deciding goal. It's their 14th overall ODAC title. Their 6th straight. The 14th is a record. 6 straight ties the all-time ODAC women's soccer record. Now, let's bring in our first guest of the afternoon, and let's talk to head coach of the women's basketball team, Abby Pyzik-Smith. Coach, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Let's talk about the big day tomorrow. Season
Definitely
gets underway at William Peace. What is the preparation like from your end when you're playing a team like William Peace? It's not a conference opponent. How do you gather tape, and how much do you watch, and the process overall?
Definitely. We treat every game the same, as we go forward. Each one, we focus on that game as we move forward, and each one has its importance and its value. And so right now our team's focus is on Peace and in our travels to go down there. We try to really plan in what we do, and so our preparation in the last 3 weeks has been really important. We've had a home scrimmage and an away scrimmage, so our freshmen know what it's like to be on the road and what that means on the bus and how we do things. So, they already have kind of a trial run as to what we're doing as we prepare for Peace. But again, we scout, we do film, we do everything the same as we go forward. We're a very prepared team, and so, we start our details and our good habits early, and so that's what we're doing today.
A lot of coaches will focus on the here and now, but coming off of a historic season like you did last year, what part of that trickles over to the beginning of this season? How much of that is used for this year?
Well, I think it trickled into our postseason, obviously, and then our preseason. I think our motivation and our intensity and our focus and what we wanted to do and our vision was huge. And so that has really prepared us. This group is the most prepared group I've ever had in my 6 years here. And so they have put tremendous time in, and that's definitely as shown. In the 4 weeks that we've prepared for this opening game, we've tried to build and get better every single day. And that's kind of been our focus to do that. And this last week, as we build in excitement and talking and, having these little interviews to talk about our season and going forward, we've really talked about being in the moment and really enjoying those things. We've had great leadership so far, and these seniors, with a winning season this year will be the first time they've had 4 winning seasons in Lynchburg basketball history. And so we're really pushing to continue that tradition and do those things. So we're really being in the moment of every possession, enjoying those moments, and building as we get deeper into the season.
For those who don't know, you played here, you graduated from here, and with that part of the things that you think about, obviously you're coaching this team and you're bringing all this history into it and you're having successful seasons. As a former player, is there a difference in terms of your excitement about the program where it's come since you graduated?
I always have a passion for Lynchburg. I think that's the one special thing about Lynchburg College is, you have such a deep passion, and we always talk to our alums about being very loyal, passionate, and proud. And I think those are the 3 words when I first took the job that I wanted to kind of put forward to our alumni is what that feeling is. I was actually joking with my assistant, Coach Ann, the other day, and was kind of evaluating, we evaluate the players as much as we evaluate ourselves, and was talking about how this run and how great, our program has built to keep going, and the players who've worn the jersey before. But to have all that emotion and passion behind it, sometimes it's hard to control that and stay very level-headed because you just want to jump on the floor and do those things. But there's no team I would trust more to wear the jersey than this team that we have right now, and that makes me even more excited. And actually, for the first time, I've been rather calm in certain situations. Trying to control myself on that a little bit. But I think the passion just kind of comes forward, and you can see that in our players as well. Coach Ann is also an alumni, so to have 2 alumni on staff, our heart and soul is on that as well. And having Coach Seiler with us too, she piggybacks that pretty solidly too. And so everybody is on the same mindset as we go forward along those lines.
What was the moment in your life that you realized you wanted to be a coach?
That's a great question. I actually came into Lynchburg wanting to teach. My dad was a teacher, my mom was a teacher. Just love working with people, and so I came in, and that was my thought. My senior year, I tore my ACL, and so didn't have a lot of options my senior year, and really had to fight to prove myself. And so luckily I had an opportunity here. When I got here, I switched my major to athletic training, and so while I was here, did athletic training, loved working with the athletes, but the one thing that I got to do kind of behind the scenes was watch every coach that I worked with. And I got to watch a lot of different coaches here, a lot of great coaches, Coach Kudelka, Coach Abel, Coach Olson, all of those coaches that I worked with, I kind of saw their coaching style, what they brought, and everybody brought something a little different. And by the end, I actually didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated, which I'm sure my parents weren't super excited about.
Sure.
But I actually got an opportunity to go out to a D2 school and do that, and was able to teach, coach, and do athletic training. And in that year, running around with my head chopped off a little bit, I found my heart was truly in coaching. That's where a lot of my energy was going. And so that's kind of how the path started. And then luckily, I think things happen for a reason, and I've been put on this path and luckily ended up back here. So it's been an awesome journey. Yeah,
that's something that you try to tell athletes and students as well. You got to get out there and try it to figure out exactly what you want
exactly
to do.
Right.
Interesting thing that I found this week, of course you're married and you've got a wonderful looking dog at home as well. But your husband is actually an official.
Yes.
Which is an interesting aspect. How is the household during basketball season?
It's a unique mindset, and I've learned a lot. I thought I knew it all, but obviously I don't, obviously. And but it's great. We obviously are able to talk and understand each other's worlds a little bit. But there's moments where we don't talk and we don't agree on things, and we have those moments of quiet in that. But it's neat to have an athletic household and to know what we're doing, and we're both very supportive of all of those things. And I think our players, they're like his children too, along those lines. So it makes for a really great family aspect and all of those things, and towards the common goal.
Now, what level does he officiate at?
He actually does football and basketball, and so football he's actually Division III, and then in the basketball world he does Division III, Division II, and Division I. So he's all over. Our schedules are pretty crazy. And
I'd say that part of the year is pretty nuts.
Yeah, we're kind of going and coming and saying hi and having dinner for 10 minutes and catching up on the day.
At least
then
you
going
have
forward.
that little bit of time.
We do,
right?
we do.
Well, last thing I'll ask you is just real quick, what's an overall expectation that you have placed on this squad this year?
I get that question a lot, and I think each team is different. And when we started practice, I said that we wanted to reach our full potential. And that full potential keeps surprising me every day. Last week I saw a different team than I saw this week. And each week we're getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I've learned that we have so much experience, we can work on little details, special situations, those type of things to prepare us as we go forward along those lines. So my expectations are really high. I think if we can put our effort towards everything that we want to do, our commitment level with our passion and where we want to go, if we can give everything we have, we can reach the top and get into that NCAA tournament, which is where we want to be.
Right.
And we want to be playing deep in March and doing all those things, and our vision is very strong in that. And so, those are our expectations for our program, and we're reaching very, very high in what we want, and I know they're very, very obtainable. And so this group is very committed to doing those things and knocking them out.
Well, I think I'm ready, just like everybody else is, to see you make that happen.
Thank you.
Certainly wish you the best on that.
Thank you so
and
much.
Have a great season.
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for
Thank
coming on
you
the
so much, Joe.
When we come back after the break, we'll have more basketball action with Coach Hilliary Scott of the men's basketball team. Welcome back, everyone, to the Weekly Sting. I'm Joe Hutzler, your host. And before we get to our next guest, Hilliary Scott, let's ask you the Hornets trivia question for this week. We ask you this week, the field hockey player Nikki Simpow earned ODAC Field Hockey Rookie and Player of the Year honors earlier this week. Has that happened before? We'll have the answer for you coming up in the third segment. Now let's get to our next guest, men's basketball head coach Hilliary Scott. Coach, thanks for joining the show.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about the first game tomorrow is at Johns Hopkins. Coming into the game tomorrow, how has preseason gone? How has practice been with your guys?
It's been great. This is probably the first time I've ever had an entire team back. So it's been a surprising treat for us to have so many guys returning back from last season. Things have gone fairly quickly in terms of putting things in, and our guys are chomping at the bit. This is 1 year as a coach. You never feel like you have enough practice time, but this year I feel like we're ready to go, and I think it has a lot to do with so many guys returning.
You got all 5 of your starters from last year returning. You've got a good core group of seniors. How does that help you as a coach, as far as maybe not repeating yourself as much because you've got those guys to do it?
Well, I'm looking forward to just getting started. We don't have, all of our entire package of offense and defense in, but at the same time, if I'm, have to call a timeout or go through a dead ball and draw something up that we don't have in, but we've used in years past, our guys will be able to pick up on it pretty quickly. So it's just been a great treat, something we've never had. This is uncharted waters for us. We've always had a couple seniors that have graduated and have had, significant contributions to the team. And we had one senior last year, Rion Pradia, who helped us out, quite a bit during the end of the season. But to have our entire team back, 16 returning guys, 5 starters, 3 all-conference players, it's a good treat. We're ready to get started.
When you talk to any of the guys on the team, you talk to yourself, or it doesn't even matter the history of any program, obviously the goal is to win the ODAC championship. But with it being so long since the men's basketball team won their one and only, is there even more expectations on this team because of the experience coming back and the added weight of, hey, it's been 40 years, let's end this streak?
Well, the fact that we haven't won one since 1979, that's been a constant reference for us really since I got the job 8 years ago. We always reference that. We always look at the banners in the gym, and we always talk about that. That's our goal going into every single season. Unfortunately, there's 11 other teams who are talking the same. So what's going to differentiate us? Doing the things that we need to do on and off the court, and really coming focused every single day. But our expectations are probably as high as it's ever been, and that's good. That's what we want. And so I think our guys are ready for a challenge.
You and I talked a little bit today about the overall competitiveness that comes from the ODAC. Can you describe to people that don't know how good this conference really is?
Well, I tell people all the time, there's always a misconception about Division III athletics, especially basketball. And we're on the recruiting trails, and there's a lot of guys out there who, maybe are able to play a little higher level than us, and they always feel like, hey, I can always go to Division III. But I don't think anybody really realizes how good these players are. Every single year we have juniors and seniors that are able to play at higher levels. That's across the board, and that's from the first place team to the last place team. We've got really good players in this league, and it's always kind of a going joke at the end of the season amongst all the coaches when we do our all-conference awards. And there's 3 teams, and all of us are like, well, we'll take the 3rd team any day. So there's some really, really good players, and which makes for great basketball night in and night out. Unfortunately, it's a tough road. But if we're able to cut down nets at the end of the year, it's going to make it that much sweeter.
That much sweeter. Now, for those who don't know, you're from here. You're from Lynchburg. You played at Roanoke College, so you know.
You can't say that very loud.
I know. I tried to keep it down a little bit. And so the ODAC, how it's gotten better throughout the years. You were telling me earlier as well that when you played, it was kind of a top-heavy type of league. What do you think has contributed to it being not like that anymore?
Well, I just think it's a lot having to do with recruiting. I just think that, we have 12 coaches in our team that really get after it in recruiting, and it's national. It really is. And with the AAU scene, the summer scene in terms of team camps and that sort of deal, and the opportunities to see a ton of basketball players over an entire season, it helps in recruiting. You can find guys really from everywhere. We've got freshmen on our team this year from Florida. So I think recruiting contributes to that. And there's just a lot of good basketball players out there who are looking for somewhere to play.
Now, every coach has a motivation or something maybe off the court that's got them to where they are. You've had great experiences at Penn State before you got here, but I feel like from what I've been told, You're a family guy, and family means a lot to you. How much does your family mean in terms of what you've done to this point and drives you when it comes to coaching?
Well, family's everything, really, to me, and it's a big reason why I made this move. I was assistant coach at Penn State for 5 years before I got here. Just the recruiting and the hustle and bustle of that level kind of took its toll on me in terms of myself, my family. Isaiah, who's now 10, was just about to turn 3 when I took this job, and my daughter was just born months prior to that. So I really kind of came to a crossroads in my life to try to figure out, you know, where the next move is. And that's what brought me here. I mean, my parents are still here.
Right.
I come from a big family, aunts, uncles, cousins, you name it, all here in Lynchburg. And it's been a great move, man. Family's everything. That's the reason why I came.
What's from your perspective, since you've lived here or grew up here, people talk about Lynchburg College being a real family atmosphere. What part of that is most true for you? Is there an example? Is there something every day that you see that says, yeah, this is where I want to be for long term?
Well, I know I only have a few minutes, but I mean, we could really talk about this all day. You know, from the fact that we have administrators and faculty members have us over for meals during Christmas break, the fact that we see professors at our games, you know, you walk across campus and you'll say hello to 25 different people walking from, you know, Turner to here, and it's genuine, and you know, that's something for everyone that comes to campus here. And I can say the same outside of campus as well, in terms of the city, the atmosphere around campus, around the city. It's similar, man. We're a southern town, and we like to say hello to people.
Right.
And we give hugs, and you know, that's just the way we are.
That's fine. I've been here 4 months, and I can tell you that all of that is true.
Exactly.
For sure. Well, Coach, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Yep.
Good luck the rest of this season. Let's get started tomorrow against Johns Hopkins. When we come back after the break, we'll talk to Morgan Singer, senior women's soccer player, here on the Weekly Sting. Welcome back, everyone, to this week's edition of the Weekly Sting. Again, I'm your host, Joe Hutzler, and let's get to that trivia answer for you. We asked you in the last segment, field hockey player Nikki Simpow earned ODAC Field Hockey Rookie and Player of the Year honors this week. Has that ever happened before? And the answer is no. The awards have been recognized since 2000, and she's the first one to win both in the same season. Now let's look at the upcoming schedule for this week, and we start with women's basketball, 7 o'clock tomorrow, taking on William Peace on the road, and then the men's basketball team will play at 7:30 on the road at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And then the big game on Saturday at 7:30, women's soccer against Babson Beavers College at Rowan University. That game will be broadcasted thanks to us on LHSN. Now let's bring in one of those players that will be on the field on Saturday, Morgan Singer. Morgan, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course.
Appreciate your time, and let's go ahead and let's talk about the game on Saturday, the feelings coming into it for you guys. How has practice been this week?
I mean, NCAA week is always something you look forward to all year. It's so fun, just the intensity that, like, it's like a flip switches in our team and just the intensity picks up. I mean, every practice we have so much fun. It's everyone's favorite part of the day, but it's just a different feeling when you know it's do or die time at the end of the week. So
last weekend against Roanoke went farther than anybody expected it would go. 1-0, or excuse me, it was 2-1 in PKs. What from that is?
I mean, it shows that we can play back-to-back Saturday, Sunday, and go deep into overtime, into PKs on Sunday, and come out on top, which is a huge thing because that's what you need to do during NCAAs to be successful, is play the hardest game of your life Saturday and then play an even harder game Sunday. So our fitness level obviously was where it needed to be, and you could tell that by the overtimes. We just dominated Roanoke. We had so many shots, they barely got through to us. Like, So I think we came away from that knowing like we could get through these hard weekends with our fitness and our really just fight that we have within us. So.
Of course, again, another ODAC championship for you. That's all you know. So how cool is that from a personal standpoint that, hey, I've been here 4 years and I've got an ODAC championship every time?
Yeah, that was our first goal. Like seniors, like we were like, all right, we're not even looking at NCAAs. Like let's get through this 4 years of winning every ODAC game. Like let's just do it. So it's kind of like as I was sitting there on the sideline during PKs because I don't take them, I was just kind of like, it's not going to come down to my last game going to be a loss. Like, there's no way that's going to happen. And I trusted my teammates completely to come through. So, luckily, I wasn't in the position that had to score the big goal. So, I was okay with that. But
let's talk about you, though, last week. You had a pretty good ODAC tournament. 4 goals in that weekend, 2 against Randolph, 2 against Virginia Wesleyan. I have to ask, on the first one against Virginia Wesleyan, who did you run over to? Why did you go to the sideline for that one?
Okay, well, obviously, I play up top with Hannah. Every game, so her being sidelined from an injury the day before was pretty tough on us, and it was just kind of like I don't know, Coach even said he's never beat Wesleyan by more than 2 goals in his 22 years of coaching here. So just to get that third one in and you like know that was going to be their breaking point of like giving up, it's just like, I don't know, it was a big moment for our team in general, so I wanted everyone to be involved in that.
Well, it was certainly interesting, and it was cool to see that everybody, even if they're not on the field, that's really awesome. Let's deviate a little bit from the soccer here, and let's talk about some of the things that you are doing outside of soccer. Because, believe it or not, she is a student athlete, so there are other things outside of soccer for her. But one of those being coaching. You do coach at New Covenant, so your 3rd year, or this is your 4th year?
I've done it for 2 springs and a fall now.
And you coach just soccer?
Yeah.
How does that help you on the field here at Lynchburg College?
I mean, I've coached middle school, like 5th through 8th there, so it's a lot different than, like, obviously what I see here. But, I don't know, it helps me figure out, like, you have to talk to people in different ways. Like, you can't just use the same method to get through to every person, and I think that's helped me a lot with talking to my teammates here even. Like, there is some people that you can yell at, and there's some people you can say, you're doing this wrong, fix it like this, but there's some people you kind of got to be like, you know, like, maybe if you try this, I really think that'll work better for you. Like, so I think I've really improved with that, like just being able to find different ways to get through to different teammates.
Is that something, the coaching side of things, that's something you wouldn't mind getting into a little bit after school?
Yeah, definitely. I want to teach PE in the schools, and then like maybe eventually move on to like coaching club, and then if I could get into higher level, like collegiate level, then I would definitely be open to that.
Now, you also are a very avid outdoorsman. You like to hike, like to bike. Plenty of those things to do around here.
Yes.
That's for sure. What is the release, if you will, that you get from that? Why do you hike mountains and bike on trails?
Well, our team is really big hikers. Like, there's a big group of us that go. So every summer, actually, for the past like 2 summers, we've gone on a big camping trip, and it's like me, Tess, Alexis, Natalie, Rachel Sadowski, like a bunch of us all go to Shenandoah National Park and camp for like 2 or 3 days, nights, and then just go on like a bunch of hikes and everything. Like Jade is a big hiker, so like we all, I don't know, that's really something our whole team's into, so that kind of helps out. And it's just like when you have an off day and you think you wouldn't want to be around each other, but we do, and a lot of times we go out and hike. Like a lot of the freshmen have been getting into it, and spring, that's what we do almost like couple of times a month on the weekend. So I think it's really just a way to hang out outside of soccer too and still be outside and everything.
It gives you all a chance, of course, to bond even more afterwards. And anybody that watches you guys on the field can see that there's that extra chemistry even off doing stuff that's not soccer related. You are a senior, so every game is more important for you than it has been before.
Yeah.
In your 4 years so far, what's been, outside of the national championship, I don't want to give you that, what's been like the biggest happy takeaway moment, something that either happened or just, you know, overall feeling of your 4 years here at Lynchburg College?
Other than the national championship game, like I think just like being in Kansas City last year was so fun for our team. Like it was like we all became, I mean, our team's obsessed with each other. Like I'm pretty sure other teams like hate us because of how obsessed with each other we are, but like in Kansas City, it was like we became best friends, like everyone, and like everyone just would look at each other and be like, how are we here, like doing this? Like it was so fun, and I think that's like that's one of the main reasons we want to go back. Like, we tell the freshmen every day, like, it is so fun. Like, it's just so fun being there and, like, not having to worry about anything but soccer. And, like, all of our families were there. Like, we always talk about, like, the men's lacrosse team got this huge, huge outcome of, like, fans, which was so cool to see. And, like, most of our team was there and everything. But, like, the atmosphere we had in Kansas City was just our team and just our families. And it was, like, we didn't need anything other than that. Like, it made it so fun and, like, perfect for us. So I think that was, like, one of the best moments of really my life is being there that weekend.
So cool. Well, we hope that you get to experience it again.
Me too.
That would be terrific. Well, good luck on Saturday against the Beavers of Bath College. Hopefully we'll be seeing you play on Sunday
for sure
as well. And again, you can catch that game thanks to the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone, this week for the Weekly Sting. We'll be back same time, same place next week.